Support for this program is provided in part by Guido's Fresh Marketplace.
Today, we are celebrating beginning of spring. And even though it's still cold outside, but by making these wonderful spring dishes, we are going to beckon it to come faster and to warm us with the rays of sun that we've been waiting for so long. So the first food that we think about when spring comes is green peas. And this is what we are going to cook today. I prepared 2 different recipes that I will cook in front of you. I pre-chopped everything so that we manage everything in this short episode time. And the first one is going to be the soup with zucchini and spring peas. So we are going to start, and I'm going to guide you about what ingredients we are using and why they are so good for you. So we are adding to the pot 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and we are kind of moving it around to make sure that it covers the pan. Okay, turn it on. Okay, so it coats the pan, and then we are going to add 1 medium onion that I already pre-chopped. So we'll add the onion, increase the heat. I can tell that the pan is not hot enough because I don't hear any sizzling, and that's a good indication for me that the heat has to go up. Okay, now I hear some action. And then we are going to sprinkle a little bit of salt to help them along. And in the meantime, the next ingredient that will go there when our onions have sauteed is going to be garlic. So I will just grate the garlic on the grater, and that's an easy way to do it instead of chopping it, or you can just smash it and chop it up. So let's grate our garlic. This is a trusted method that makes garlic easy to work with and also very fast to cook. I can hear my onions sizzling nicely, making sure that the heat is not too high, shaking the pan and smelling all the wonderful smells. Okay, so after the garlic goes in and cooks for a little bit, we are going to add leeks. So there are 3 members of alien family that are going into this soup. And the soup is going to be also, after we add zucchini and peas, and the soup is going to cook until zucchini is soft. Then we will let it sit for 10 minutes, and then we will throw in dill, half a cup of dill. So here are the quantities I'll give you so that you can replicate it when you do it at home. So 1 medium garlic, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 6 garlic cloves, 1 medium leek. You will, of course, proceed with the leek the way that I taught you in my previous episodes, where you will remove the outer leaves, the outer green leaves, and also trim the leek to about, trim about 4 inches off the top. And then you can slice it horizontally along the length of the leek. and make sure that it's clean. You can wash it in a bowl of water, or you can wash it under running water just to make sure that there is no sand. And then you will slice leek thinly, and you can see how it looks. So our onion has softened, and now I'm adding the garlic. And at this point, I really want to stir it because the garlic is kind of pureed, and I want to make sure that it cooks evenly. And of course, we have this lovely, lovely smell. Whenever you cook with garlic, everybody says, oh, I love the smell of garlic. I love eating food with garlic, and it's so wonderful for you. Okay, so now we will add our leeks. And I will also add a touch of more salt. Adding salt to every time you add another ingredient is really a great way to flavor your dish. Whatever you're cooking, if you wait until the last minute to add all the salt, then your soup will be less flavorful than if you follow this method that I just shared with you and shared before in my other episodes. Okay, so you don't want it to be browning. It has browned a little bit because it hasn't really cooked evenly. You want to avoid this. And so when all of this has softened, then you will want to add your zucchini. So you need 1 3/4 pounds of zucchini, and it's about 5 medium zucchini that I just washed and sliced 3/4 inch thick. And they are here sitting and waiting to be added to this mixture. Okay, so now I'll share another trick with you, which is when I make soup or I cook anything where I need hot water, in order for me not to wait for everything to start cooking, to expedite it, I always preheat the water. I have an electric kettle at home, and so I fill it, and boiling water is waiting for me. And if you're in a rush, it's really a wonderful trick to speed things up. So I already heated my water. I will add, so we add also 1.5 cups of green peas, and these are frozen peas. It's really very convenient that you don't have to go through the labor of shelling peas. Of course, go ahead and do it if you want to and if you have the time. And of course, when we have fresh peas, it's a wonderful thing to do. Here we're adding 3.5 cups of water, and increasing the heat to make sure that our soup comes to boil fast. Okay. And at this point again, I will flavor it with more salt. So I will taste it. I want to make sure that I don't over-salt it, but at the same time, you know that salt brings all the flavors together. So you want to make sure that you have enough salt to have a flavorful soup. So let's taste it. Okay, so now it's pretty bland. So I can go ahead and add maybe a teaspoon of salt or so. And what's interesting is that when you taste this water, and it tastes right to you in terms of, the amount of salt that you use, you have to keep in mind that the vegetables, as they cook, they start absorbing all this salt. And so if you wait for a while and taste it again, you will notice that your liquid is not really salty anymore. It's actually lacking salt. So just sharing this technique with you so that you taste as you cook, which is extremely important. we will cover it now and let it come to boil. Okay, so our next dish is a pea spread. It's a very easy spread, and we will make it once our soup has, our zucchini has softened. Then we will go on to make our pea spread. And this is wonderful just to put on a piece of bruschetta. And the way that I do bruschetta, actually you can call it bruschetta or bruschetta, different pronunciations. Probably bruschetta is a better way to call it. So I took a loaf of sourdough ciabatta, which we are fortunate to have, this wonderful bakery, Berkshire Mountain Bakery, and I sliced it 1/2 inch thick. I placed it on a baking sheet, and then I preheated. You can either do it in a 450-degree oven, or you can do it under the broiler if you watch it closely. So then I take my pastry brush and I pour some olive oil into this dish, and then I brush my slices on one side and put it in the oven under the broiler for maybe 3-4 minutes, maybe less, depends. It has to be maybe 4 inches away from heat, not like right away under the broiler. And then you watch to make sure that they start browning, but they don't burn. You take it out, you flip it over, and then you brush the other side with olive oil, and then you repeat with the same. As soon as it comes out, that's the way it looks. And then I grab garlic clove, which you can cut in half because you want to rub this garlic into the bread. And it's really very easy. And when the bread is hot, the garlic kind of melts into the bread and makes it very delicious and flavorful. And so your bruschetta is ready. And then you can make it in advance. And there are so many toppings that you can put on top of your bruschetta. So be sure that you use this method and enjoy it yourself or make it for your company. It's a wonderful, wonderful appetizer or something that you can serve alongside the soup that you make. Like you can have this soup and have bruschetta going along with it. So our soup started boiling, which is good. So it will take probably about 6 minutes for the zucchini to soften. And at this point, I'm going to reduce my heat because I don't want it to really boil. I want it to simmer softly. And we want to have this wonderful, peaceful energy that is imparted to the soup, but not like aggressive cooking. So let's continue cooking it. And in the meantime, so our bruschetta is ready for us. And let us talk about what else we are going to do with this soup. So once we put it in, as I said, we are going to add dill. So the way that I wash dill is, or any herbs for that matter, I would take a bowl. This is my friend, a bowl of water, cold water. And whenever I have leafy greens or salads or any herbs, I would plunge my herbs into the bowl of cold water, and then I would definitely dry it in a spinner. And then this is the way that I would pick the dill off. I would just grab it and just slide it, and the fronds, which I'm going to use, I'm not going to use the thick stems. I will just separate, and then I chop them, and this is the dill that already prepared, and it's going to go into our soup. So at the same time, I encourage you to save, whatever leaves you cut off of leeks and whatever stems you have from different herbs. I encourage you to save them. You can even put them in the freezer, and when you have enough of them, you can throw them into water and make vegetable broth, or if you are making chicken soup, you can do the same thing. You can add it to your chicken soup. Okay, so our soup is cooking, and let's talk a little bit about the peas. So the pea actually is a very ancient crop. It was harvested many centuries ago, and it was mostly used as a dried legume, which is very convenient in the winter, as you know. And only in the 16th century, they started cultivating this crop for using it fresh. And the country that produces the highest amount of peas in the world is Canada, and followed by Russia and China and India. And India actually happens to be the biggest importer of peas. So peas are really very good for you. They have a lot of fiber. They have a lot of phytonutrients, and phytonutrients are, you know, the healthy and amazing components that come from greens, because phyto, you know, is a green. So you can only get them from vegetables, and that's why I'm mostly showing vegetable dishes on my shows, because it's easy to throw, you know, meat together or chicken together, but then what do you do with all these vegetables? And this is why we are talking about how to use peas, and I'm showing you two different ways to cook them. So, so the peas have, in addition to fiber, they have carotenoids, they have B vitamins. They're really a wonderful addition to your diet, and it's great to add it to salads. And if you were to make this soup with fresh peas, then or this actually spread with fresh peas, then you would want to pre-cook them. But here, when we are going to be making this spread, all you want to do is make sure that after you saute the garlic, that the peas have actually defrosted and softened, and then you're ready to go. Okay, so let's check again on our soup here and see if zucchini is softening. So, you know, it's funny how the summer rolls in, and we have our farmers markets, and we all want to go there and patronize our farmers, and to make sure that, you know, we are getting this fresh produce that is really full of nutrients when it's freshly picked. And then we have abundance of zucchini, and we really don't know what to do with the zucchini. So this soup, please remember to make this soup when this time comes around and you're thinking, oh, what should I do with my zucchini? Because the soup can be eaten hot, the soup can be eaten cold. You can put a little bit of sour cream or drizzle some olive oil over it, and it's really going to be delicious and very nutritious. So when you are looking to see if the zucchini is done, then you want to make sure that it's kind of changing color. So I see that it's taking much longer for me to cook this zucchini than I expected. So we will take a little break, and we will return when the zucchini is done, and we will proceed with our pea spread. See you in a minute. So our soup is ready, meaning zucchini is soft, and this is what it looks like. And then I set it aside so that it just sits and cools a little bit, and all the flavors melt. And in the meantime, we are going to proceed with our spread. So I'm adding 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil to my pan, and I already grated garlic. However, you can use a garlic press. That's very convenient to use in this case if you don't want to grate it or chop it. and I'm adding it to my pan and start cooking it. And I will add right away a pinch of salt. And once the garlic has cooked a little bit and starts browning a little bit, which will take maybe, a couple of minutes. You want to make sure that the garlic doesn't burn, because when your garlic has burnt, it starts tasting bitter. And of course, you need bitter flavor in your diet, but not coming from overcooked garlic or burnt garlic. Okay, so now it's sizzling nicely, and you just want to watch it very closely. Don't walk away when your garlic is cooking. It's not a good idea. All right. And then as soon as the garlic is done, we are going to add our peas and cook them just until they have defrosted, if they are frozen peas. And you would want to pre-cook these peas a little bit, maybe 5-6 minutes if they are fresh. Okay, so let's add the peas. We have 3 cups of peas. So to 3 garlic cloves, 2 tablespoons of oil, 3 garlic cloves, push through press, and here we have 3 cups of peas. Okay, so we will add more salt, and we want to make sure that the peas has completely defrosted before we proceed making our spread. So make sure to shake your pan and scrape everything from the bottom, because if you don't do it, then whatever is stuck there may start burning. Okay. And it looks like our peas are beginning to defrost. They look bright and lovely. And let me tell you a little bit about what would be a good thing for you to do in the spring season. Spring season is for cleansing. And the cleansing organ in our body, one of the most important ones, is the liver. So liver loves sour flavor. And so in the spring, try to eat more things that have sour flavor, and especially lemon juice is great. It's very cleansing. We will add a little bit to this dish, because acidity always balances flavors and makes them fresher. But also, when you get up in the morning, like drinking a glass of warm water with the juice of lemon, 1 lemon, freshly squeezed, would be really great thing for you to do, especially around this time of year, to help your liver along, because in the winter everything is slow and kind of stagnating, and we really want to make sure that we do a nice cleanse for our body. Okay, so at this point I will throw the peas into the food processor, and I will process them and make sure that they are that it's not too smooth. This mix will be kind of a bit chunky. So let's scrape everything off into the food processor. All right. All the yummy bits. Okay. And make sure to scrape the sides. All right. Now at this point, you can add some more salt. and freshly ground pepper, and then process more and then taste it. I will add lemon juice when we're already done with processing it completely. Okay. All right. Now we'll taste it. It's sweet and delicious. Definitely lemon juice will help. Make sure that you cook your peas until they are soft. Okay. A little more salt and a little more lemon. And it's done. Actually, mint is a very nice addition to peas, so I think that this spread could benefit from the addition of mint. So you will put it here, and then you'll top your bruschetta with it, and it looks lovely and appetizing. Okay, now we will proceed with our soup. So we will add the soup to the blender, and we will blend it together with our dill. See, the zucchini has really now finished cooking, because even though you don't cook, but your food continues cooking. So we will put everything into the blender. Okay. And add some dill. So you'll do it in stages. I'm just doing half of it, and with half of the dill. And again, I will add black pepper and just whiz it through. Okay. Okay, so let's flavor our soup. Let's taste it and see what we need to add. Okay. Definitely some lemon. It's really delicious. You will serve it with some pea shoots, and you can put some pea shoots also on your bruschetta, and it looks lovely, and you can eat it alongside your soup. So please make sure to go to the kitchen, involve your children or grandchildren to help you peel garlic, and involve them in this magic of cooking. Happy spring. See you next time.
Support for this program is provided in part by Guido's Fresh Marketplace.